Hello and welcome in to Spreads and Subs Daily Gambling Show. Today is Thursday, almost said Wednesday, June 6th, episode 22 of the show. Today, as always, we're going to have 10 bets for you. Cut those down to my three favorites at the end of the show, and those will be the ones that we track on our record. Before we get into it, talking about yesterday and whatnot, shout out to Bet Openly, the best odds in the game. Sign up with Bet Openly using the link in the description. Deposit $50, and we will be able and DM it to me on Twitter at JReidNBA, JREIDNBA on Twitter, and I'll be able to enter you into a giveaway for some cash. That's JREIDNBA on Twitter. Minimum $50 deposit. Shout out to Bet Openly, the best odds in the game. So, talking about yesterday, we had 10 total picks. One of the games we picked got rained out, so really only 9 picks. 2 and 2 WNBA, 2 and 3 MLB, 4 and 5 overall, and then 1 and 2 in our best bets. So another unfortunate day. We've been starting the past couple weeks off going 2 and 4 with our first 6 bets and then bouncing back towards the end of the week and going positive. So hopefully that happens once again. As we are 2 and 4, we are minus 2.13 units on the week. But I got 10 picks today. I really like a lot of them. I think we're going to have a good day today. So we'll start it off with the breakdown. It's going to be 5 NBA picks. We have the NBA Finals, first NBA game in like a week and a half, so I'm happy to get to betting on that again. 2 WNBA picks and 3 MLB picks. Let's start it off in the NBA with the Finals. We're going to start with Mavs plus 6.5. I've had this pick for a week. We talked about it with Dave on last Friday's show when we were discussing the Finals. I think the Mavs are just going to either compete or win this game. The Celtics have been pretty shaky and playing close in their first couple games of the series, all playoffs now, and honestly for the past couple years. But one thing I'm going to say is I do think the Celtics win this series. I have the Celtics winning this series in 7, but I think the Mavs win one of the 2 games in Boston. I think they compete in both of them. Mavs have lost both of the games during the regular season, but they're a much better defensive team now. The spread is pretty big, and I think that spread's going to get smaller as the series goes on. I think this is going to be a very tight series. I think we see the spreads in the 4, 3, 5-ish range. This one's at 6.5, so I kind of have to take it here as a big spread, and I think the Mavs compete in these first couple games. So I'm going to go with Mavs plus 6.5. Second bet here, the over-under. I got Mavs Celtics over 215.5. Both games in the regular season went way over. 248 in the first one, 229 in the second one. Or actually, I'm not sure which one was the first and the second, but 248 and 229. Celtics games early in these series have gone over for the most part. We saw it last series a lot. We saw it even the series before when they played against Cleveland, a decent defensive team. The Celtics defense is great, but it is a step down from Minnesota. So Dallas is going to have much more success, hopefully, for them against the Boston defense than they did against the Minnesota defense, and they were still scoring it pretty well against the Minnesota defense. So I think they score well today. I think we see this game in the mid-220s to maybe a 230 range, so I'm going to take over 215.5 pretty confidently here for my over-under. Next one here, I have 3 player props. First one, Jaylen Brown over 23.5. Brown's been the best player for Boston this whole playoffs. It makes no sense to me how his over-under is so low here at 23.5. He's averaging 29.5 points per game against the Mavs so far this year in the 2 games that they played. He's covered this 23.5 in 8 of the last 10 games, including 4 straight. Every single game last series he covered it. I think he's going to have a great series. I think if the Celtics win, and I think they will, he is my prediction for Finals MVP as well. I think he has a great series. I think he has a great game 1, and 23.5 at minus 104 is just insanely low for him. For game 1, so I'm going to take him there. Second player prop here. Al Horford over 7.5 at plus 115. This is covered in 3 of the last 5 games. Those 2 losses where it didn't cover were 7-point and 6-point performances from him. Horford should get more PT with Porzingis in his first game back. Scored 12 and 11 in the 2 games versus Dallas this year. I think Porzingis playing is making this line lower than it should be. I expected it to be more like 9.5, but Porzingis playing drops it down to 7.5 at plus 115 as well. Porzingis is going to play minutes, but he's not going to play his normal starting minutes. We're still going to see a lot of Horford. It's still his first game. We don't know if he's going to get re-injured or if he's going to feel any sort of tweaks when he's out there. So I think it's a safe bet to take his backup at over 7.5, especially when it's that low. Next one here, we've got Luka Doncic over 9.5 total rebounds at plus 105. Luka's been dominant on the boards. He's covered this in 8 of his last 10 games. During the regular season, even though they lost both games, he had 18 rebounds in one and 12 rebounds in the other. Him and Tatum have been great for their size at rebounding, and I think that continues here. I think we see Luka getting the 10 rebound mark. I think he rivals a triple-double. I don't know if he gets there, but I think he gets there on rebounds. So I got over 9.5 at plus 105 for him. 2+ money picks there. Let me go back over the NBA picks for the day. Mavs plus 6.5. Mavs Celtics over 215.5. Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. Horford over 7.5 points at plus 115. And Luka Doncic over 9.5 rebounds at plus 105. Next one here, we're moving on to the WNBA. I have 2 picks here for the W. First one, Sky Mystics over 150. Oh, wow. The graphic on the screen says 165. It's 156, I believe, is what I have in my notes, and I'm going to check one more time just to be safe. But, yeah, it's over 156 at minus 110. So ignore the graphic in the top right. It's 156, not 165. But that proves my point more. I was shocked about how low this over-under is. These are 2 teams that are favoring on offense over defense. They're the 7th and 9th ranked defensive teams in the WNBA. This is a wildly low over-under for a game with 2 bad defensive teams. I just really can't fathom unless I think that neither of them are going to be able to have good shot making. I don't know who wins this game. I was iffy back and forth on the spread. It's Sky minus 3.5, but I lean Sky. Although the Mystics, I think, have a good shot to win this one. They've been right on the verge of getting that first win. They're playing against a Sky team that's going through a ton in the media right now. It's actually wild. And regardless, I don't think the Sky is a great team overall anyways, but that's neither here nor there. I'm taking over the over 156 at minus 110. That's 156 flat, by the way. So we could get a push there. But all right, moving on here. Second WNBA pick. Liberty Dream under 165.5. Liberty are the best offensive team in the league, but the Dream have been solid against teams that are top of the league in offense. Like, they were good against the Aces. They lost that game, but they were still in that game, and they held the Aces, I believe, to 78 points. The Liberty are ranked 4 in defensive rating. The Dream are ranked 5 in defensive rating. It's funny, the 2 WNBA games today, the 2 teams that are ranked great defensively have a high over-under, and the 2 teams that are ranked bad defensively have a low over-under. So that's interesting to me. Despite both teams being solid on offense, I think defense is going to prevail in this game. I think we're going to have a slugfest between the Dream and the Liberty, which a lot of people, I guess, are not expecting because of how good the Liberty have been on offense. That's why the over-under is so high. But regardless, I'm taking the under 165.5 for Liberty Dream. So my 2 WNBA picks are both over-unders. Sky Mystics over 156 at minus 110, and Liberty Dream under 165. Next one here, moving on to our final 3 picks, all MLB here. Braves, Nationals, under 8.5 at plus 100. Both these teams are struggling to score runs right now. The Braves have Ronaldo Lopez on the mound, who's just been nothing short of fantastic for the Braves. Not a great record because, like I said, the hitting hasn't been great, but 3-2 with a 1.73 ERA. He's been phenomenal for them. Parker for Washington, he's been solid as well, 4-3. So he hasn't been the most consistent pitcher, but 3.6 ERA. Anything under 4 in the MLB is solid if you don't know that. And we'll take 3.6 and 1.73 and take that under 8.5 at plus money with plus 100 there. Next one here, another total here. Dodgers Pirates over 9.5 runs. This seems like a trap for people to try to smash the under with 2 good pitchers on the mound. We're going to try not to fall into that trap. We're going to take the over. Falter's been amazing for the Pirates. He's been just completely outstanding compared to what he was last season and his whole career, really. But the Dodgers are the best team versus lefties in the entire MLB. I think although I'm a Pirates fan and I know he's been fantastic and he's been one of the better – I mean, the Pirates have – I could talk all day about the Pirates rotation. They've been phenomenal. But the Dodgers are so good against lefties, I think they're going to at least hit him, and it's the Dodgers. And then Buehler is pitching for the Dodgers. He's been solid, but the Pirates are hitting the ball well, especially this series they've been hitting the ball well. So I think they continue. I think we see a high-scoring game here, and I love Dodgers-Pirates over 9.5 runs. And then my final play here is going to be Cubs money line plus 105. The Cubs' struggles are in the hitting department, but they've been better this week, although they're playing against the White Sox. They hit Freddie well last night. Assad is on the mound for the Cubs. He's been phenomenal as the pitching for the Cubs has just been so good all year. He's 4-1 with a 2.27 ERA. He's been phenomenal. Hopefully for the Cubs' sake, he can stay in the game long and try to keep that bullpen away. Hunter Green's on the mound for the Reds. He's been solid, but I'm going to ride out with the Cubs' hot bats here. I think they're just hitting it at a good pace this week. And baseball is all about a game of runs. No matter how bad they've been hitting it over the course of the season, especially the past month or so, a team can get hot. They have a great pitcher on the mound in Assad. I'm going to take them plus money against the Reds. So let me go over the MLB picks one more time before we move into the best bets. MLB picks are Braves Nats under 8.5 plus 100, Dodgers Pirates over 9.5, and Cubs moneyline plus 105. All right. Moving into our best bets. If you're new to the show, we pick the 3 best bets live on the show. I picked the 10 prior, of course, because I'm doing research trying to figure out what my favorite 10 are, and then based on that, I pick it live on the show. One I'm going to for sure go with here, and we track all these, by the way. If you're on YouTube, you can see in the top right, or I guess middle right now, total best bets record, this week's best bets record, which is our 3 per show. First one, this is one I picked prior because I said it on Friday's show, but Mavs plus 6.5. Like I said, I think we're going to see a lot of close games, especially in Boston. We know the Celtics have been shaky in Boston in the playoffs over the past couple of years. I think the Mavs are going to compete in this game. I think they have a good shot to win it, but 6.5 is way too big of a spread. We're going to take that. Any sort of close game, we're going to win on that. So we're going to bank on that, and a close game or a win wins us there. So that's an easy pick for me, Mavs plus 6.5. Second one, I'm going to go with my next two I'm going to go with are the two that I just can't really fathom the lines on. So Jaylen Brown over 23.5. I don't know how it's so low, especially at minus 104 for 23.5. He's been their best player. He's averaging almost 30 points against the Mavs this year. Let's see what Jaylen Brown's playoff average is right now. I don't have that off the top of my head, but let's see. In the Pacers series, he averaged 29.8. In the Cavs series, he averaged 23.4. In the Heat series, he averaged 22.8. So that's about, just quick math, probably 24, 25. So he's right there. He's covered in 8 of 10 games, including 4 in a row, covered in every single game last series. He's been the MVP for the Celtics. I think he continues to do that here in the finals. So Jaylen Brown over 23.5. And then my last one, I'm going to go with Sky Mystics over 156.5 at minus 110. Like I said, we have two teams that are not great on offense, but are worse on defense than they are on offense. And it's just a wildly low over-under in the mid-150s. That's about as low as you're going to see it in the WNBA, at least so far this season. And when you have two teams that aren't great defensively, it just doesn't make much sense. This is like a spread that I would see against in Lynx Sun. And we get it here in Sky Mystics. So I'm going to take that absolutely. I think the Sky do win the game. That's neither here nor there. I think this is a game in the low 80s to high 70s, covering 156.5 fairly easily. So one more time, my 3 best bets are Mavs plus 6.5, Jaylen Brown over 23.5, and Sky Mystics over 156.5. Once again, shout out to Bet Openly for sponsoring the show. They have the best odds in the game. Go to the link in the description here on YouTube. Sign up with Bet Openly. Deposit at least $50 into your account, and then send me a screenshot of proof on Twitter at JReidNBA. That's JReidNBA on Twitter, and I'll be able to enter you into a giveaway for some cash. Shout out to Bet Openly for the best odds in the game. Tomorrow, we will be back for our last show of the week on Friday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I will go over how we did on today's bets, as well as give you 10 more for tomorrow and pick 3 of my best bets of those 10. But wish everybody luck on the bets today. Take what you can, take what you can't.